Now you just wait for our response.
It all began on a quiet spring morning, April 22, in the serene valleys of Pahalgam, Indian-occupied Kashmir. Tourists had come to enjoy the scenic beauty, unaware that within hours 26 of them would be dead. The attack was brutal. Explosions echoed through the mountains, screams pierced the stillness, and even before the smoke cleared, India pointed its finger at Pakistan. A group named the Kashmir Resistance claimed responsibility, but the world was not convinced. The claim remained unverified, the investigation incomplete. Still, India's political circles moved quickly. Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in Saudi Arabia. US Vice President was visiting India. As the blame game intensified, the entire region began to tremble. New Delhi unleashed a wave of punitive actions as it suspended Indus Waters Treaty, closed Wagah border, revoked SAARC visas, and scaled down diplomatic ties with Pakistan. In retaliation, Pakistan closed its airspace to Indian aircraft, halted bilateral trade, and issued a stern warning that tampering with Pakistan's water rights would be treated as an act of war. By April 26, Pakistan rejected India's accusations, but that was only the beginning. On April 29, Pakistan shot down an Indian quadcopter over Neelam Valley, signaling that its patience had limits. That same evening, the Pakistani military's media wing ISPR held a fiery press conference, revealing intercepted audio and digital evidence of raw-backed terror network operating inside Pakistani territory. But India dismissed it all as a propaganda. Then came 30th April, as the two Indian fighter jets briefly approached the LOC. Pakistan responded immediately. Jets were scrambled, tensions rose, and just when it seemed things couldn't get worse, internal Indian government memos were leaked to the media. The documents suggested that the Pahalgam attack might have been strategically manipulated to fuel a nationalist media storm. Again, India denied everything, but Pakistan had already sent its own message. On May 3rd, it test-fired the short-range Abdali missile, declaring, "We are ready for peace but fully prepared for war." This was followed by a successful training launch of the Fateh missile on May 5th to demonstrate operational readiness. Then came the night of May 6. India launched missile strikes on 6 cities of Pakistan. The devastation was widespread. Homes were flattened, mosques destroyed, civilians killed, at least 31 lives lost. Even the Neelam Jhelum hydropower project was struck. It was a line that many believed should never have been crossed. By morning, chaos had gripped Pakistan. Israeli-made Harab drones targeted major cities. Most were shot down, but one struck a military facility in Lahore as the city went dark. Black smoke rose over civilian districts, airports shut down, people braced for more. May 7 and 8 brought retaliation as Pakistan claimed to have shot down 5 Indian jets, including 3 Rafale. Across the LOC, air was thick with the smell of fuel and fear. The world watched in panic. The US president offered to mediate, but his own vice president dismissed the idea, coldly stating, "It's none of our business." Secretary of State urged both sides to show restraint. Meanwhile, Iran and Saudi Arabia urged for peace. And then came May 10 as the first call to prayer echoed at dawn. Pakistan launched Operation Bunyanul Marsoos, its strongest response so far. Hypersonic missiles were fired in a coordinated attack on Indian military bases, hitting ammunition depots, radar systems, and airfields. India confirmed that 5 installations were struck. With mounting casualties and growing diplomatic pressure, India desired to de-escalate. On the same evening, a mutual ceasefire was announced. On Sunday, May 11, Pakistani military held a historic press conference at GHQ Rawalpindi. Major General, flanked by officials from the Foreign Office and Air Force, addressed the nation and the world. He spoke firmly that Pakistan doesn't seek war, but let there be no doubts, we will defend every inch of our land. Operation Bunyanul Marsoos was not aggression, it was necessity. He shared intercepted drone footage, details of the Indian incursions, and timelines of the strikes. He called for global accountability, especially regarding the misuse of media and narrative warfare. Above all, he reminded the world peace in South Asia cannot be achieved by force. It demands justice, especially for Kashmir. The mountains are quiet again for now. now, but the region remains on edge. And while the missiles may have stopped flying, the questions remain. Who really lit the match at Pahalgam, and how close did South Asia come to the brink?